Welcome to Flute Q&A number 49. In this video, you're going to learn how to master your scales on the flute as a beginner flutist. So if you're totally starting out. So this question comes from Harry, and there's also a good comment from Nard. So Harry asks, "Hi Jane, I want to learn scales. Is that possible online?" And then Nard also said, "I would like to begin some lessons. I'm at the beginning level, just playing lower octave scales about 45 minutes a day." So not really a question from Nard, but I thought I would include that because it was an interesting comment that he's playing lower octave scales, which Nard is a good thing that you're doing. Okay, so my name is Jane. I'm a flute teacher. I teach flute players how to get faster progress by learning proper technique. The little tiny tweaks to your playing of right technique, the right way to play, that makes a huge difference to how easy it is to play and how good you sound. Now this video is a series of 4 videos. So this is beginner level, but we also have how to master your scales for intermediate, advanced, and how expert flute players master their scales. So we've got 4 levels. So if you're not a total beginner, after this video, you can jump ahead to intermediate, advanced, or expert. Harry, I'm going to teach you your first scale in a video. So this is to prove to you that yes, it is possible to learn your scales online. Obviously you need a flute, and you'll probably need to have gotten your way around the flute. So had a couple of lessons, know what notes to play, and know how to get a sound. Now, if you don't know how to do that yet, no problem at all. What I'm going to teach you can be saved until you're up to that level. So this is how to learn your first scale. So we're going to do this in 5 steps. When you learn your scales as a beginner and at any level, it's really important that you use no music. So you don't use any music when you play. Of course, you can refer to music to go, oh, okay, what's my key signature? But when you're playing the scale, I don't want your scales to be a reading exercise, a reading music exercise. It's a playing exercise. So learn them without music. All right, here we go with the 5 steps. Step number 1 is understand how a scale is constructed. So to do that, you're going to need to know basically 2 things. You're going to need to know that a scale steps up in alphabetical order. You'll also need to know the key signature of the scale. For example, we're going to do this on F major. So F major has a key signature of B flat. That means every time you play a B, you don't play B, you play B flat instead. All the other notes are natural. So if it's F major, we're going to start on F and we're going to step up alphabetically. So F goes to G, and then G, excuse me, doesn't go to H, it goes back to A, but it's still going up in pitch. Then we have B flat, C, D, E, and F. And then you do that in reverse order and come down, and that's your first scale. So step 1 is to understand what you're doing, understand the construction of the scale and what notes you need to play. Step 2 is to, oh my gosh, don't know what's going on with my throat, is to learn it 1 octave. So what I showed you then was 1 octave. Oct means 8, as you know from octopus, and octave is the distance between 2 notes. So the distance between the bottom F and the top F, it's 8 notes in total. That the distance is 1 octave. When you get better, you can do 2 octave scales and also 3 octave scales for some scales. When you're a beginner, totally start with 1 octave. Okay, step 3 is to make sure you're doing it tongued. I'll play it for you. So this is F major, 1 octave tongued. The reason that I get you to learn it tongued first instead of slurred like that is more advanced for a couple of reasons. One is you need a lot more breath control, and if you're at the stage of just learning your first scale, chances are you're still yet to really master your breath control. So doing it tongued means that you don't have to think about your breath control so much. It's one less thing to think about. And the other reason why tongued is better than slurred as a beginner is because the little tiny gap between each note where you're not playing, so the little tiny gap gives your brain the teensiest amount of thinking time to switch fingerings. And at this stage when you're playing, you're going to need that time to think. If you try it slurred too soon, you likely will become overwhelmed. Having said that, if you can do it slurred and you've got breath control, no problem, awesome. Chances are you're going to be an intermediate or getting up to intermediate level anyway. So if you're finding there's a lot of things to think about, tongue it. I should say tongue it. That's step 3. Okay, step 4, really important. Play your scales accurately. In fact, play them as slowly as you need to go to be able to play it exactly correct. So, for example, you might have to think about B flat if you're doing this fingering, C, and here you might have to take a bit of time to get to D, think as much as you need. You might be able to do some bits quick, but my encouragement for you is to slow down and get it right. Go as slowly as you need to be able to get the fingerings right. The reason for that, I learnt an amazing phrase the other day. I think it's the Navy SEALs that had this. I don't know if this is real or if I just heard it. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. What that means is if you spend time to carefully, accurately do your scales right, which is slow, you will form, I was going to say processes, you will form grooves is another way of saying it, in your brain that are the right paths. That's what I wanted to say, the paths. You will form the right paths in your brain, doing the right fingerings, and once they've been emphasized a little bit, you will be able to go fast with ease. So slow is smooth, meaning, easeful, and then that leads you on to going fast. So in other words, don't play it wrong because you'll be teaching yourself the wrong thing. You'll be forming the wrong paths in your brain. Go as slowly as you need to get it right. Accurate, I should say, rather than right. Right's a bit general. Accurate. Okay, and then the last step, step 5, is to be able to play the scale that you're learning 5 times in a row, 0 mistakes. Slow as you need to go, carefully play it 5 times in a row with no mistakes. And if you make a mistake, you've got to count from 0 again. It's a bit of a fun game. Now, this is easier than what you think. It's harder than what you think, and it's easier than what you think. It's harder than what you think if you dive in and go, okay, I'm just going to play my scales and I'm going to do them really fast. It's going to be hard. If you understand the concept of go as slowly as you need to get the notes accurate, you will find it easy. There you go. 5 times in a row, 0 mistakes. It's the fastest way to learn your scales accurately, which means they'll be right and you'll be able to go fast and you'll be a good flute player. So this step that I'm talking about through here, this is the exact step that I teach in the Flute Academy. Now, the Flute Academy is not total beginners. So Harry, it was Harry, wasn't it? Was it Harry? Yes. Harry, if you're on your first few weeks of learning the flute, hold off on joining the Flute Academy because I want you to get a handle on your instrument just a little bit first. But for anyone who's sort of upper beginner level into intermediate and advanced, the Flute Academy is good for you. So the process that I've showed you is the same process that I teach students in the Flute Academy. So they're not beginners, but they haven't always learned they haven't actually, almost probably 99% of the time, they haven't learned how to play scales, practice scales properly. And this is how I teach them. And it's amazing how fast they go, their progress and their actual scales when they learn this technique. I'll put a link to the Flute Academy below, Harry or Nard, in case you're interested or in case anyone else is interested. There's something else. Oh, how could I forget? If you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to type below, what is your favorite scale as a beginner? So what's your favorite scale to play? Maybe because it's easy, maybe because it sounds good, maybe because it's the key of your favorite piece that you like to play. Type in what is your favorite scale to play as a beginner. Now, don't forget if you're an advanced or you're curious about let me say that again. Don't forget if you're intermediate or if you're curious about how advanced or expert flute players, you could call them elite flute players or even pro flute players, how they get good at their scales. Have a look for the other videos. So this is the first one in the series. If you're watching this within a week or 2 of it coming out, the new ones won't be there yet, but I will record them and you'll see them all together. Now, if you'd like a clearer tone, a clearer, stronger tone, I can easily fix your embouchure to get you a clearer and stronger tone. Join me at www.flute.school. Sign up for the free mini course and I'll show you exactly the 3 steps to fix your embouchure, clearer, stronger sound. I'll see you there, and good luck with your scales, and Harry, good luck learning your first scale of F major. See you later.